don't know, we took it like 6 times. 190.
You paid to put the ice pack on your forehead.
Yeah, well,
Before you come in.
whatever.
They took mine one time. I was low too.
Well, I told her, well, as long as it's not high. Should be fine.
Somebody cut your hair.
I did.
Did you?
Looks good.
Yeah, well, it was a lot shorter. I cut a little too short.
I got
I
mine.
was like, man, I was like, I'll just use this small clip.
That's what I did to
I was
Tyler.
like, wow, that's a little shorter than I was planning.
Sorry, got a little short. He's like, that's okay.
I guess we're ready.
Am I to put that in the paper again? No.
What's that?
Environmental review, right? That big one, that's just after all those.
No, that's for the submittal. Yeah.
So that does not have to go paper.
No.
That's why it's so lengthy, Tracy. You wondered why it was so long.
Yeah, that's
It had
the
tribal
final
notices.
for that one group. Yep.
Yeah, that was long.
That's what I emailed it, so I save them electronically, but unless you have to print it, I don't.
No, geez, I don't print anything.
Because it's got all the copies of the tribal letters, the first review, the final review.
Did you go through it all?
He started to print it.
Like the
I
computer's
said.
gonna melt down.
Yeah, well, it'll put you to sleep. That's for sure.
It's quite a deal.
Technical difficulties.
Well, Primer's in Florida calling in, so.
Oh, breaks his foot, then goes to Florida.
Are you there?
Ben?
Yes.
No, there you are. So, just calling in on Zoom this morning. I can watch you on YouTube as well.
Sounds good.
Okay?
We'll probably have Gary act as chairman because I need some signatures today. Is that okay, Rick?
I'm sorry.
I'm
Yes,
gonna-
Gary will
okay.
do the signature.
Yep,
Sector.
he'll act as chairman today.
That's fine.
Okay, just wanna make sure.
Can you turn down?
I'm gonna do that on
I think he's got something on
that.
down
Do you
there,
have
right?
something on in the background? What's going on now?
Something's going on.
YouTube playing, I think, in the background.
Yeah, Rick, do you have other stuff playing? Rick,
Yes, I can hear you.
but do you have something going on in the background? You're loud, background noise.
I'm gonna try and get this.
Okay,
Excuse me.
that's fine.
There.
That's better.
Is that better?
Yes.
Turn it up now, Ben.
I didn't realize on YouTube that had volume going too.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, we're good. Okay, so Gary's gonna be chairman today, correct?
Yep.
Yep. We've already approved minutes.
Okay. Very good. And now you're doing with Adam there?
Yeah,
Okay.
so Adam's just ready to start.
All right. Wonderful.
So first thing, we have an environmental review that's done. Tom sent that out and he forwarded on to you. That's for the final submittal to the state. I believe those are the projects in Benton County that I have remaining. Okay, what's the number on
On that,
was it 007? Yeah, so 007, those are Benton County projects specifically. The state required us to split them out per county 6 months ago, so that's why instead of doing one of these, we have to do 3 more, or 2 more after this one. So that one is ready to go to get submitted to the state. I just need your guys' approval to do that. I did not read through it. I let the grant administrator do that. It's his. If he says it's good, I take his word for it. That's above and beyond what I am capable of putting together. So
Did he get those other purple books for you in that file?
I don't know.
Remember that file you still have? I think There's two in there. I don't have them.
Office
I'll-
is closed,
yeah.
so I don't know,
Oh, they're in the office? Everything is?
maybe, I don't know.
I'll look back on my old emails, cause I know I usually scan them when I get them,
Mm-hmm.
but he was needing to.
Okay.
I believe there's a couple ponds and a couple wetlands in that, that project packet.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
I'm pretty sure I kind of skimmed through it last night.
yeah, so nothing, too complicated permitting wise as far as Army Corps, DNR and those should be very straightforward projects, when we get ready to get to that point.
So what do you need from us?
I just need a motion to approve the environmental review so it can be submitted to the state office for final approval,
For the tier 2 review.
or for the tier 2 review, yeah.
Okay, well, you need a motion to approve that environmental review and authorize signature.
Yep,
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Looks
it.
like Tracy's still leaping through that. Okay, very good.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved.
Very good.
and then we have 2 projects that are ready to be contracted out or bid out. So we have an intent to obligate construction funds form and a duplication of benefits form for these projects. These are probably 2 of the biggest projects that we have as the county. The first one is a really big wetland site here in Benton County. It'll be just under 13 acres in size as far as water area, and then with associated buffer that goes with it. Here's kind of a
So,
picture of the footprint. This is just south of Garrison, a few miles. It's actually just over the hill from Todd's new hog building to the west. So just over the hill from that. So that's been about a 2-year process to get, we finally got the permits from the Corps of Engineers for that one last week and the DNR last week. And so everything's ready to go on that. Then we have a second one in Tama County. This is a pond, just under 9 acres in size. That one is, again, it's just got approved from the Corps of Engineers, got their permit. We'll get the DNR permit next week. So here's that one. So those 2 we're anticipating doing 1 contract for both of those projects. I believe the estimated cost is a little over $1 million for those 2 projects. And like I said, those are probably 2 of the biggest for not only my project, but I would argue probably the entire state for the whole program. So,
really?
yep.
This jealous and
Yep.
that's gonna be a pond,
Well, it's a wetland.
wetland.
It'll look like a lake, but most of it will be 2 to 5 foot deep. It's not going to be deep for the majority of it. And main reasoning for that is just topography. We're not going to dig a giant hole to make it really deep. But as far as environmental benefit, wetlands are superior as far as nitrate and phosphorus removal from water. Last year we ran some calculations on that one. I think we estimated about 60,000 pounds of nitrogen removal annually through that system. So as far as the water quality benefit, that is superior to a lot of other projects that we have. And it also has a really big drainage. We're looking at about 1,300 acres of drainage coming into that. So, and all of that minus roads and houses is agricultural land. So quite a bit of benefit can be coming out of that particular site. That's in Mud Creek. And so I know the Flood Center has been studying that tributary, that stream for another project as well.
The dam's gonna be kinda like in the middle of the section then, I take it? Or
It's on the edge of the property, so she owns a quarter, but yeah, it'll be roughly in the
middle of the section.
middle of the section.
Yeah.
But it'll be, the road going north-south is dirt, the level B road.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one east-west, it's 62nd Street, that's a gravel.
64.
64th, that's a gravel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big project. This is definitely a real exciting one. I'm trying to get this one done for a long time.
When do we get word about the extension plan?
I'll let you know here in a second. And then that one is more of a pond. It does have some wetland creations. We had to create some wetland acres to meet the Corps of Engineers permit, because technically we were destroying we were modifying an existing wetland.
Oh,
It was just reed canary grass, but on the wetland inventory, it's considered a natural area. So since we were impounding there, we had to do some additional grading on that one to offset those impacts, which not a big deal. It adds more storage for the project. So
this one's in Tama County?
yeah, that'll be just 4 or 5 miles west of Trader, if you're familiar with that area. It's right off of the road. There's a water tower. Just west of Trader, it's maybe a quarter mile from there. So yeah, those are the two projects. Like I said, Haley has the 2 forms that need to be approved and signed, so we can bid them out. The one is the intent to operate construction funds. Did you want to pass that over?
I emailed them, but I'll print them out for Gary to sign before you get home today.
Okay.
You want it right now? Or do you want me to scan it?
Well, I'll need the scanned copy, just then you can sign. And then there's also the duplication of benefits form, which we have to do it for every, those are the 2 forms we have to sign for every projects that we bid out. So
We need a motion for this as well.
motion to sign both of those, and then that will allow us to publicly bid the projects. Do we need a motion to publish
They
it?
usually just gave you like approval to go ahead and publish that.
Okay,
So I would just
okay.
keep
Okay.
it consistent.
Tracy, you making a motion, are you?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Obligation construction, right?
There's 2 forms.
Intent to obligate funds.
Yep.
It's a 1 page.
Yeah.
You printed them all, I think. Didn't you?
And affirm a duplication of benefits.
Yep. Those are the 2 forms that you'd sign.
Okay, that's my motion.
All right, and I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And you said we need
Opposed?
to publish?
Yep, and then, unless you want that, yeah, do another motion for.
We'll need to publish in
Publish that.
papers so we'll just need a motion to,
Okay, I make a motion to you publish it
Yeah.
in the papers, the 2 papers.
Okay, and I
that'll be
will
2.
second that.
And, yep, that'll be Tama and Benton.
Okay, that second publication isn't here, it's in Tama County.
It'll be both,
Okay,
because the one project is in Benton County, the other one's in Tama, so we have to publish in both.
okay.
All the papers.
Those 2 counties. Just one paper, doesn't have to be yours.
So you
Oh, really?
put that notice for this time.
I'll give it to you. We haven't put it right there. I don't know when we're gonna have it ready. I just wanted to do it all in one
Both
shot.
of
So,
those are probably a Friday paper, so if you pick a
Yeah.
Friday.
so that bidding period will be, it has to be between 4 and 20 days. I imagine we'll probably have it at least 2 weeks open, just because they're really big projects. So, but anticipating everything will be done and ready for a contract to be signed by the end of the month.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is that everything you need?
That's everything I need to approve. The only other update is we did submit request for additional funds from the state in January. And then a 3-month time extension. The state allowed the program for the project to deadline to be moved to December 31st, so they gave us 3 more months. They did not give us any more money. So there are some projects that are kind of in limbo right now. Working with the Department of Ag and trying to figure out if there's some state funding that could cover the shortfall that we have. I know they're meeting on next Monday to discuss that, so
Do you have any-
sounds like a maybe. We're roughly about $2.5 million short,
Really?
just because we've had so many projects come on in the last 6-8 months that per year that were above and beyond what we originally had planned, and so, and with other expenses being a little higher. But it sounds promising that we'll get at least some of those funded that the IWA project can't through the Department of Ag. So hopefully next week they'll give us some better news. And we already have an agreement with them to cover some landowner portions. They were talking maybe it might just be an amendment to that existing agreement. So like I said, they're going to talk about it on Monday, and hopefully I'll be able to report back some positive news on that.
I think you're doing a great job, and I think in the future, 50 years from now or whatever, they'll look back on this.
I hope so. I hope maybe it's in a couple months they do.
Well, whatever.
So,
What about the projects up north? You go clear up to Charles City, don't you?
not with my project dollars. So the Cedar River Basin does, but I'm strictly in Benton, Tama, Buchanan counties where we can build stuff. We've done the planning process for the watershed plan, covers the middle basin of the Cedar River, which basically is Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and then west towards like Athleton, Parkersburg. Then you get into the Upper Cedar Basin, and that's a different organization. So, but they do have some projects up there. They built some years ago. But as far as my program now, we don't do anything up there.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
How's the project here in town coming?
It's still contingent on the city finalizing their purchase agreement.
Okay,
As far as I know, they haven't done that yet.
right, and then is there still money sitting back? No.
The Department of Ag said they would be interested in pursuing that if it's needed. So that's one of the discussion points on next Monday that we're going to be talking.
Yeah.
I can't really reserve project dollars for, just for whatever reasons, and wouldn't really be fair to others who are waiting, given what happened with that project.
Are they gonna make a wetland in that area, or what was the?
We were going to.
I heard about it one time, but it was like a few years ago, so I heard the city might have bought that, which would probably be kind of cool.
Well, we bought it. We were ready to build it, and then the State Board of Regents squashed our bug. Because the city's purchasing the Braille School, and so we were gonna take all the spoil and build up them a
Is
building
that
site.
still a done, not happening deal?
As far as I know, I don't know. So, but that's all my updates.
Yeah,
And I'll get you the,
the notice.
well, we haven't put it together yet, but I don't. I just didn't
These are
want
the minutes,
Five,
right
five,
here, so these minutes are fine.
Yeah, I gotta get some signatures and stuff from people today, and then I think we'll have it ready by.
When you do go get in the office again, let me know.
Oh, I can always get in there. It's just
Okay,
Tom's
well,
in there.
I'm pretty sure I emailed him, so I'll go back to my emails, because usually when I get them from him, I scan them in right away.
I had a couple that came to my office.
Okay, well,
And
that one, maybe that's
I put them on Tom's desk.
where they found their.
I never looked at them, so. I don't know. There was a couple applications that came through.
Have you changed that? You got one more spot, I think. Here.
No.
Okay, I'll state it then.
One of them has been county. Just send me a scanned copy of all that stuff.
Okay, I will.
Give that to Tom. That's all digital anyway, so.
Yeah. Just have you print it right here too.
I'm sure one.
Sorry. What's that?
With duplication, it's the exact same for all of them. So I'll get you the
It
copy.
looks identical when I saved those in PDF, that's why I always change the dates.
Yeah, I'll get you the contract number. It's the same too. We didn't have it on.
Oh, okay.
So that's, I think it's the IWA.
Yes, please. Just in case. You don't
I
wanna
want to
get-
say it's the IWA's NDR.
It's the big NDR one, I believe. I can look back at those and go in.
Yep, so that's all I got. So,
All right, I'll scan them all to you and then I'll watch for your notice.
yep, like I said, I think we'll have it ready.
And then next week is when all those claims pertain.
What's that?
We pay next week for claims.
Oh, you
Yeah,
next week.
Yep.
So I don't have
It
to
was
check.
the long gap.
It's a 3 week.
Just so you're wondering, that's what happened
So I would need to put my claim this weekend by.
tomorrow, Wednesday, for next week.
Nope, I won't have one.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ben, how long have you?
Thank you, Adam.
It just depends on how many questions you guys
I
have.
just didn't know if you
otherwise-
wanted Randy to go
Yeah,
first.
if Randy wants to go first, it's
So
fine.
that way you don't have to sit here.
Yeah.
I know it's raining and you wanna get out.
Me and you were always on it, like, close to the same
Well, I
time,
put
it
9
seems
or
like,
9:30 and then you at 9:15.
so. Yeah, no, that's fine.
And I went for a ride, didn't I, Randy?
Yeah, you did. I didn't scare her a bit.
So where did you go?
We went up and looked up at the 3rd floor, basically. It would have been level with the 3rd floor chambers, wasn't it?
Yeah, she didn't go very high. I should have had the big one.
Yeah. I was strapped in there though. I was safe.
Didn't flinch a bit.
That stuff doesn't bother me. I would have traded you that day. It was nice out.
I know. Boy, this next week doesn't sound good.
Of course, after people plant their gardens, I want to cover everything. I did take a couple pictures from that view if you guys want to look.
So it's a total
Yes.
of 39,000.
Nope. Like I say, it seems like it's kinda high for what they gave me for a price, but they've gotta send a guy out here, measure it all up how he wants to do it. Measure it,
From the outside.
and he's gotta go back and have them bend it all up. Then they gotta come out here and install it, solder it, and like that banister there, we got up there and there's a lot of details along the side that you can't hardly see. There's a round pillar there, there's a place where it's gotta slope up so the birds don't put a nest in there. So I kinda, okay, there is a lot of work there for them. Mine's not that much on there. I got splattered wood block, and I know Rick said he goes out there on that banister and
Oh,
cleans windows every so often. I said, okay, I'll keep that in mind.
yeah,
Make sure
he
it's
does a
having-
pretty good job out there. And I don't think you'll even see it from down below. Just notice that
No.
once we do that at all.
There's a spot there there's birds sit in.
And I think that's how that bird got in my vault one time. There was one when I opened up the door once, it had to come in somehow. Scared me one morning.
I thought it was a bat.
Well, cause I'm unlocking the vault for the belt and I come in and it just flying out. And I called Rick.
So did Rick come down and take care of the bird?
He's probably more scared than you.
Probably.
I didn't like it.
So how much did that come in at?
39,
I think they're almost,
yeah, 25,392 and 14,787. They're gonna install copper tight flashing, waterproofing.
yeah, that's the real McCoy. It'll be 16-inch copper, 16 ounce.
And how soon before they can start working on that?
Probably pretty quick.
Okay,
I
so
think
it will be
they've
this
got,
fiscal year.
they slowed down a little bit on some of their work at the, I think, EDM.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, they got some guys, they got good guys. They've always done a good job. It'll be done right.
So what was the total price on that?
25,392 plus 14,787.
Can we just vote I thought I heard those numbers, so 40,179?
Yep.
Okay,
Hmm.
all right.
And this'll,
Do you need a motion to get this going?
Well, yeah, because what his original bid was for just the waterproofing, Jansen's when we did that a few months ago, right?
Right,
So
this
this is
is,
in addition to that.
yeah, this is additional.
But
Correct,
I do agree, it probably, we need to do something about it.
What's the two different projects here?
What's that?
What's the two
and
different,
you'll probably break this up into next year's,
Possibly, we might have
budget.
enough in this current fiscal year, but I do have some for both years, so we'll make it work without an amendment.
okay.
Tracy?
Well, so then I'd make a motion to get it done.
we got two different projects here, right?
Well, one's a base bid, the other one is an addition to the base bid. It's extra work.
Yeah, the additional work is that copper, isn't that correct?
Sometimes I write them up and they want this, also include this as an alternate. So the base bid is doing the one way up there on the,
Okay,
I forget what you call it. Then the alternate is, if you want to, is to add on to this and do this banister out here. And like, a lot of times I have 3 or 4 alternates in here, because they want waterproofing in, or don't want it, they want it deleted. They want maybe some work done out here, put that as an alternate, but they want the base bid, definitely want that. So these are additions to the base bid.
so the 25,000 is for the gable way up high.
Yep, that's the base bid. Yep. And this is an addition. So if you just wanted to do that one, that's what you do, is sign that one, don't sign the other one. And if you sign the other one also, in other words, you gotta take the base bid, the alternate, yeah, that's an addition.
But what if we want to do that at a different time, then you'd have to pay them for all their equipment and stuff too again, so.
Does the one with the pillars, the smaller one, that needs to be done too?
Like underneath the arch out there at the entrance, it's
Yeah.
starting to come clear through there and delaminate the stone. And, there's joints up there that are inside the banister, there's a pocket in there about, this big, all the way along there, yeah, it's just setting in there, snow, and it's running right on down through, you can't even hardly get to it. This way it would run right off from the window sill to the back. Okay, like this is a banister here, the window's back here. We put it to the window sill, the metal, and slope it a little bit right to here, and then bring it right out to the banister with the hand kicker.
This one? I took pictures of where we were at, Randy, up here, looking, because it was more on that corner one.
Yeah, we go clear back here, flush it, and put wood right to this banister, and bring it on over to the edge with the kicker, so that all this stays dry in there. The only thing that would be open is underneath where the balustrades are, you could probably still get some blowing snow in there.
But when you're up there, you can definitely see that
Okay.
it's.
This all looks good up here, it's down below that, it seems the sandstone just keeps, like tile, field tile, this is my theory. When you put tile in, it takes about a year for it to start working good. Stone does the same thing, it gets a memory and draws it on down with salts and stuff like that.
So you can see it.
This stuff's really,
Where
it's
I
really
was,
known
you
for
could
that.
really see it.
Because you can see some of these other sills out here, right underneath them, it's about 12 inches down below, it's sucked in there, that's where it's coming out. And I don't know if it's acidic or what, but this is sandstone that we have on the outside.
Oh, it's done good all these
It's
years.
done very good, because like I say, Rick used to go around here and pick up slivers on the top from, it was raining down all those dentals.
Remember last
We
year
put
when
a-
we did those shrubs out there, you could find little flakes and stuff, that's probably what it was from.
You could, if there's a possible, you could look at that one courthouse down in southern Iowa, it's got all this on there, Brea stone. And I swear they're gonna be sweeping it up in the dustpan if they don't do something like this with copper on top. Because it seems like this dries out quick on top. It's underneath there that it just percolates down and it comes out and it just destroys it.
Then in the wintertime it freezes.
There's chemicals going on too. I don't understand it all. I went to a seminar, basically what you need to know, what it took thousands and thousands of years to form is sandstone. That guy says once you pull stone out of the ground, sometimes in 100 years, Mother Nature can delaminate or just take it apart. And that definitely is the case on sandstone. Limestone depends on the quality. It lasts quite a bit longer. Granite, no. It's watertight.
I second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what I understood, that this was gonna take care of not only the copper roof, but that part behind the banister, isn't that correct?
Yes.
But I thought, okay,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I keep those copies, Randy?
Got two.
Okay.
There's two. I should have one signed one. I got three here actually. If
Yeah.
you
You
want,
probably need to sign off on that here.
Okay.
you can keep one as a copy or, well, I guess you can just make copies.
Yeah, I can make copies too.
Let's see.
Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. Courtney's birthday.
You gotta sign the back one too.
This one right here.
Down below, no, on the back page. The alternate, just say you accept the alternate. Yep.
I mean, if you ever get to a point where you don't want the employees coming in and out that door, just let me know.
We're working around it so
Okay,
far.
because I can send an email and tell them to go the other way. Or
We need a sign here too, right?
Or
no?
yes, yes, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Top line or bottom line? Don't matter.
Take your pick, yeah, do your bottom one.
did Alicia find that for you, Bob?
Yeah.
All I have is what we put in the minutes, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
full.
I had computer hiccups yesterday. Ben came out and spent probably 2
Oh, he did
or
have
so.
to come in?
Yeah, because he had to
Appreciate
reinstall
you doing this
Windows
work.
on my computer
I
because
like,
it wasn't
I like doing it.
it wasn't
Now you guys got the
recognizing
copy
my
then, you can
keyboard and
sign it,
mouse.
or-
So it would turn on, but it wouldn't do
Got yours there, or do you need another copy
So I
besides
called,
that?
like, I don't know, man, I'm pretty good with
He's gotta
computers, but I
keep it.
can't figure
She'll
this
keep it
out.
back.
So yeah, he came out, reinstalled everything, and now it's fully functioning, and he's got all the email and everything set up on it. So yeah, but before that, Alicia was able to find them, and then we,
She was in here and I was doing those ballots. We have so many ballots going out, so
Yeah.
it was crazy.
yeah, no, she changed everything for me, and did she get an email to you? I think she said she was going to.
She said she just had found it yesterday afternoon, so I'll probably get it from her.
Okay, yeah,
Because you'll schedule it with the paper and stuff, though.
yeah, normally.
So how long is
she
it
would
gonna
call
be before they
me.
can start?
I'll call them as soon as I get out in my truck and see
Yeah,
how
I'll
I'll
make
much.
sure you follow up.
I can say I got supplied with a
Okay.
little.
It used to be Thursday,
Oh.
3 to be in the following
That's all
Wednesday.
my
Okay. Yeah, she was saying that the earliest at this point that this could get in was this coming
It's good.
Wednesday.
Courthouse is
So,
good.
yeah, so we
For
set the,
sandstone. This is a very good
starting spring.
quality
based on
sandstone,
that,
so
just
that's
because I
almost
figured,
gonna
you know,
work
we may not
from
get started
Ohio,
that soon,
Redstone.
but that way
And
it's
it's got
got
the
people know about it.
sandy,
So,
Yeah.
angular, so it kind of holds in there together. The worser ones, like the prettier ones, the red ones, they're just round and just fall apart. You're lucky to get 50, 60 years out of some of the other ones.
Really?
Spencer, Iowa, Clay County, yeah, their stuff was just almost gone with banisters. It was a nice, pretty red limestone.
So how do you handle that? You gotta put a new face on the building?
Well, theirs was up in the clock tower, most of the red stone. And they had, I forget what they did, they covered it with metal, almost all of it, just plain colored metal. I didn't work on it, I think Renaissance did. But, it looked okay when they got done, it kinda didn't look the same, but otherwise, yeah, they'd had to put all new sandstone up there. The wall strads, they had banisters all the way around the clock tower, and brick was falling all over. Actually, this one here's been very good, very good.
Oh, it's good.
A lot easier to keep it in good shape than repair it. Is that good?
I think
That's
so.
Okay,
Thanks, Randy.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me?
You kept the copy, right? Okay, thank you.
You got one. I got another one if you need it.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
Oh, you got a copy?
I'll need that one.
Okay.
What was the first thing on? Was it resolution or?
No, we
Spray
already did that
notes.
in the minutes yesterday, or,
Oh, that was just
Yep,
like a.
yep.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
resolution was in last week's.
Just wanted to make sure I was
minutes.
going in order. So I've got copies of the noxious weed notice for this year and the roadside spraying notice for this year and the organic farmers and vineyards notice for this year. Really, the only thing that is different about this than the previous years is the date. So
It was a little later than normal.
yeah, last year I think we set the effective control date as like sometime in April. And the reason that I did that was just so that for ease of weed commission duties, we could get rocking and rolling right away instead of having to wait for a later control date. So, let me look here. We would be, I guess I'll go to the spray notice first. I spoke with our office manager and she told me that the earliest that we could get this notice in the paper was the 13th of May, just because that's, this coming Wednesday would be the earliest that they publish. So I just set our roadside spraying date as the 13th of May so that we had the flexibility to start as soon as we could. That's not to say that we're going to get to, just because weather dependent. I don't know at this point what it's going to look like at that time. But that gives us that flexibility. So based on the timing of that notice, I then, and this is open to if you guys want to make changes to it, but this was kind of my logic with it. Since that was when we were going to start roadside spraying, I figured I'd give everybody kind of the same flexibility on getting noxious weeds taken care of. So I went 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks after that and set the effective control date for noxious weeds as June 1st of this year. Just so that way they've got a few weeks to get everything taken care of. And then that's the point where we can start legally handling weed complaints, if that makes sense. So
when are you gonna start spraying them?
as
First of June?
soon as we can. This notice here informs the public of when we're potentially going to start, and I set that as this coming Wednesday.
It's
13?
Yeah, the 13th. So that would be optimistically when I would start spraying. But again, assuming the weather cooperates and the weeds are big enough where we can see them driving the trucks, that's when I'd like to start anyway. But yeah, I was giving the public a little bit longer just because we're kind of getting started with this a little later than we normally do, to get their noxious weeds taken care of on private property or public lands, whatever it be that I'd be dealing with.
So let's say there's trees growing in the road ditch out in front of a person's property.
Yep.
Who's responsible for clearing them?
Technically we are. We have historically left those areas alone just because I think they had some issues in the past where landowners would get upset that we would be spraying there. Even sometimes when we go into cut in those places, people get pretty riled up about it. So we kind of take it on a case-by-case basis, but in a lot of areas where I know it's not going to be detrimental to anything, I have been knocking some of it back with the spray, just because it takes us so long to clean them out by hand and stuff anymore that's the most effective way to do it. But yeah, I believe that it's still secondary roads' responsibility, given that it's right of way, to get those areas cleaned up.
What about vineyards?
If there's trees out in front of there, that's probably a situation where we'd almost have to cut it out by hand and pile it and burn it, just because they, like with the organic farms and vineyards, normally they sign those areas, and I want to tell you something, unless I know for sure, but I think that, I don't know if we're prohibited for sure from spraying there, or if it's just, I know like with the organic farmers, the reason that they put the signs up and notify you is that they use the right of way as part of their buffer, because they have to have a certain buffer between like the crops and an area that's been sprayed. So they are able to utilize that, and that's why they don't want you spraying there. Vineyards, it's more of a just the possibility of drift that they're worried about, because a lot of our chemicals will kill grapes. So.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of, we try to work with the landowners as much as possible, and if I get into a situation like that, normally I go and talk to them and just say, hey, we need to clear this out. This is the way, we can do it without impacting you and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it'd be a lot easier just to be able to spray everything, but it just, we've kind of had to work with people as much as possible to.
Well, I think most people are pretty good about keeping the weeds down.
Yeah. So yeah, the only thing, and I guess I'll come in at a later time to discuss with you guys probably next week, is that we'll need to advertise for some seasonals just so that we can get the truck. Like, we do have one spray truck driver on that got hired before all the COVID stuff kicked in. And Haley can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we can't hire seasonal staff until the 15th,
They
right?
just kind of encouraged you not to at that point, but
Okay.
I think things are
Lightening up. Okay. So I'd like to get people on as soon as possible, just because it's going to take me a while to advertise, interview, and get people on. So I'll try to get that into you guys next week and get it moving as quickly as I can. Yeah, yep. So, but yeah, that's my hope anyway, is to get started as soon as possible, just so we can stay ahead of the game on the weeds. So.
Okay.
And then I guess the only other thing I was going to mention too is last year was our first year doing the no spray signage. You guys had approved that last year, where we were basically allowing them to designate no spray zone as long as they kept the trees and weeds out of there. And so far, I think it's been pretty effective. We've probably had 10 or so people, I would say, sign up for it, and we set it up so that like we provided the materials, or had the materials on hand. They paid a $55 fee for the it's fairly expensive. The signs were like $20-some, I believe, and then the posts were another $10 a piece plus the bolts. We added it all together, and that's just a one-time fee they paid to designate it, and there's no reoccurring cost to it. And then we do the one call and put the signs in where they need to be, so that they're oriented in the way so we can see them when we're spraying. So but yeah, so that's been going pretty well so far, and this notice does have a section in there on that too, if people are interested in partaking in it. So
how far back from the road does a vineyard have to be before this is relevant?
that I don't know for sure. I can check on it for you though. Normally, I know where the majority of the vineyards are, and a lot of times if I know that there's thistles or something growing right in front, I've gone back, or my intern's gone back, and we can spray them, just so it's not like the truck going by and blasting, So, but
Will you send me this in the Word document so I can tweak it?
yeah. I will do that as soon as I get back.
And then I can, if you want them to sign it, I can scan it back to you right away too. So I gotta change the name and the co-chair and stuff.
Oh.
The number, resolution number and stuff.
Yeah. And I thought, or do you have your email up by chance?
Yep, I have it all.
Okay. I think Alicia did say she was gonna
Okay,
send it
I'll
to
ask
you,
her
but
right now.
if she hasn't,
That's
I
fine.
will get it and I'll send it to you when I get back here, so,
I
Down
can
the-
ask her.
okay. Cause yeah, so do you want them to
To approve them for sure, and then this
Approve
one I
it,
can
and
tweak
then-
and it'll be in the minutes.
okay, gotcha. And then if you guys wouldn't mind just signing one of them for me, cause I usually just keep a record of them so that if somebody asks for it,
This particular one, that's the one I'll tweak so that we can.
yeah, and that'll be the official one for the,
So that's one of those things, do you want me to summarize this one or leave it in the full minutes?
Summarize.
Summarize it?
Yes. I'm sure people in town don't care what kind of weeds we got.
Well, they can find this fully on the, we'll put his notices on our website too.
You ready? Make a motion to approve
And it's fine.
the spray notice in the paper, in the list, let's see.
the
The
noxious.
road spraying, I can throw them all together, right?
Well, this particular one's by resolution, so I would do the two notices and then the
Okay.
resolution separate.
Okay.
So we got the two
Do you
notices.
need a second on that?
Yep,
Okay, I'll do that.
All in favor, please say aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
resolution.
No,
no, these are the two notices first.
These are the two now.
Yep,
Yeah,
the roadside
okay.
and the public notice.
Aye.
motion carries.
Now we need it by resolution for the destruction of noxious weeds resolution.
I make that motion then.
Rick, are you gonna
And
second?
I'll second that.
Okay,
Resolution.
resolution, Rick,
Yep. Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Alright,
Awesome. Thank you guys. Get that going and,
Thank you, Dan.
yeah, I'll give you just a quick update. So we have all the chemical ready. We should be ready to go as soon as possible. I will get all that, seasonal stuff together for you next week and then I'll bring it in. We can kind of discuss that and, see what you guys think.
so you wanna come in at like 9:30 again?
Yeah, 9:30 would be fine. And then again, the job descriptions all stay the same. You just have to decide what you want the pay rate to be. And I'll have to talk with Myron if, we're gonna still hire an intern or not. I think it'd be beneficial at this point, it might be a little later that I get somebody hired, but yeah, otherwise we should be ready to rock and roll, so.
You only need one more, don't you?
One more for sure, yeah, because we hired Mark Valesky, I believe in.
A month ago.
Yeah, so he's been on, and as soon as we can start spraying, I think him and Bruce will probably rock and roll. So this would just be my spray truck driver, but I've been asking around the guy I had last year if he's interested, and I haven't got an answer out of him yet.
Dana's probably got some drivers.
I bet,
around.
yeah.
You want a spare one?
Well, right now I got a lot of spares.
You do?
Yeah.
Cause they're not,
Oh, well, I didn't think about that, because yeah, Scott had helped us.
He just got done
Two.
planting, I see.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
they only do that and then code them differently if they have their.
At least in the short term, and then, if you open back up and you need him back full time, maybe by then I'd have, another person to,
Yeah, he might work. Scotty, he probably knows.
yeah, and he's, like I said,
Farmer, he knows it's spray and stuff.
he did a good job.
He comes in on Wednesdays, and checks buses though. But
Yeah.
he can do that after hours.
And we
He
can
knows
be,
that.
we can be flexible too. I mean, given the time frame, even if I had somebody just to start her most of the time, that would be, until I could get
Can't
some,
spray on windy days anyway, so.
yeah, and yeah, there might be
At
some
least you
days.
should.
Yeah. If it rains or it's
If it's
too.
really windy on the west side of the county, you can just go on the west side of the county.
They said, my garden is great.
Well, I mean, he's got all his credentials and he's already
Yeah.
on. I mean, you could start immediately.
Yeah, and I was,
Until you get somebody.
yeah,
Eventually, I suppose we'll open up something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
yeah, well, yeah, in the meantime, like I said, if he wouldn't mind doing it and you don't need him right now, I mean, he's done it for me before and I was happy with him, so
He does drive a route sometimes, so usually works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when we're going.
Yeah,
But, you know, we're closed till the 15th, but I don't know with these day halves, if they're gonna go back right away or not, or whether, and that's when we get busy, so.
We just don't know yet.
yeah, until we get to that
But
point,
if you two
so.
are in agreement and we code him that way,
I don't have a problem with that at all, if
it'd be
you,
just if he's gonna keep the same hourly rate as
I'm the
what
one that
Dana's
threw it up
paying him.
there, so.
yeah, no, that,
But unless you wanna officially discuss it next week.
we could just, or, yeah, I
The
don't know what
hourly
the,
rate.
51.
How much was it?
I think ours, we were paying 16 something,
So I don't know if we
50.
would just change the rate according to Ben when he works for him, back to what you pay when he works.
If we can do it that way,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Up to you,
know.
girl.
We just have to
Your
mark it
job,
on the
I guess.
timesheet, well,
Yeah,
and then, I
okay,
don't know if you both sign off on his timesheet then.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be a nice, easy way to transition into it, we could go right away then, and then, like I said, I'll still work on, I mean, cause if you get back and run, I don't wanna, you know, short staff you on it, so maybe we can still pursue getting somebody, and then when we don't need Scott and Dana's able to go, then.
Do you think you're gonna be real busy right away?
I don't know. I mean,
Well, and you won't have the school kids to haul right now, right?
right, no, we don't have, I mean, that, yeah, he doesn't do
That
that.
takes away for those
But
routes.
it'd be if the doctors went back, like the dentist and that sort of thing.
It'll be all by appointment, I'm afraid.
And so, but I think we could still handle it with the drivers that I have, maybe without him.
Okay,
But if the day habs and those day centers open back up, then I might, but
Okay.
I don't know. No clue
yeah,
on
and that's
that
the
with-
problem right now until we get like, you know,
And we're kinda early.
Next
15th.
Friday's the 15th, and I haven't really paid attention, we've been so busy, so.
Yeah, she may extend it again, I don't know.
yeah, and that's the tricky part, it's like, who knows?
I know.
But, yeah, I mean,
As
like I
long as we can
said,
go
that,
day by day or week by week or something.
yeah, and like I said, if that's something you're comfortable with, I'm fine with it, and then, you know, we get to where, you know, you need him, then we'll figure something out where, you
Well,
know,
even we were going strong, he worked Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, so
Mhm.
that would still leave Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
So.
and I might be able to find, you know, something to fill the other days too, so. Okay. So, do you need me to put that on the agenda then, or
Well,
is
I
that just
still have it on
something?
there if you still wanna possibly advertise.
Okay,
for
let me
next
talk to,
session,
let me
or-
talk to Myron today too and just see what he thinks, but if that's not much paperwork, then we can
It's
do
just
it that
coding it
way.
on the timesheet more or less, and then we'll add the line items to it.
Cool.
Pay him accordingly.
Well,
But
that
you
makes
said
it
we paid
easy.
him that way before, so
Yeah,
he's already built that way, so it should be fine.
awesome. Cool,
Thanks, Ben.
awesome, yeah,
Yeah.
probably see you guys next week for something.
Ben.
Yeah, definitely.
Gina said we have 500 requests to go out today, so
Okay.
if we can speed it up, that would be, yeah, that's just ballots for today.
See you later.
Are you gonna get hold of them?
What's that?
Are you getting hold of them?
400
You got a
Friday,
number?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I do.
500 today.
If I don't, I'll maybe have you text it to Alicia or something,
Okay.
or call me.
Yeah.
Just so many requests to do.
I think I still, no, I do still have it
Transportation
because
contracts.
I had to call
Yeah,
about
where's,
something a couple
is
years
Thompson
ago.
coming?
So,
I know we got the.
cool, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That makes my day, so
Yeah.
we'll see you later.
I have all that, but I was in the assumption he was coming in. No? You have the stuff then too?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The only one I do not have signed yet is CV insulation, which I guess there's no hurry on that because we don't need insulation yet.
Well, that'd be jumping the gun, wouldn't it?
But, how's this work? Because the contracts are all made out that Rick is supposed to sign them,
Well, I think Gary can sign as co-chair since he's here today.
okay?
We'll just mark Gary and co.
Okay.
Because you already had their signatures on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we don't wanna redo all that, so.
So just, what do you suggest?
Just
Wait
do
till
those-
Rick's back or?
No, because you don't wanna keep him waiting.
No,
So let's just, because he's acting as co-chair today, so just
okay,
go forward. It'd be like my deputy signing as deputy auditor.
there's one.
then you wanna make a motion to approve them and then list them out individually then? Since he is.
Do you wanna go one at a time?
You can do it all in one lump sum, or one lump motion, but.
Okay.
Since it's in a land agreement type of thing.
Should, I know it's one thing that was brought to my attention over the weekend, that there is no date on here when we're signing it. Don't you think somewhere along the line,
Should be
one of us
today's
should date it?
Mhm. I would sign it today, May 5th,
That's what I would do. Gary, so by your name,
because they haven't officially done anything.
where it says by
right?
Rick Primer.
That way
You
we
sign
have
your
it for
name
our
and you date
insurance
it.
too, we can
5,
sign on it. Risk, village insurance.
5/2020.
I did put
Okay.
that.
Take that one.
I send you that from John Christian. Did you get all that from the risk insurance deals? Okay.
But I didn't get it. I didn't know you sent me that until this morning that they found.
Oh, that went yesterday?
Yeah,
Were you farming?
sorta, kinda.
Not to change the subject, but Rick, did Melinda talk to you on the paint downstairs? We're gonna pay for that out of general maintenance?
Yes, she did.
Okay, because I have
Yeah.
invoices here, so I'll have Gary initial them for me.
Okay. I thought that was a heck of a deal. They furnished the labor.
Yeah, they're still doing stuff themselves. I think they're enjoying
Yeah.
it.
You know, and it's nice to see them working together.
Yep. Tracy, you're making that motion, right?
Did I miss a motion to approve the signing of those?
Yes, we're waiting for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, he's
Yeah,
busy signing.
And Gary could have seconded it. That's fine, I'll do it.
He's signing away.
All right.
And then did you look over that building risk insurance stuff I sent you too?
I did.
Okay, and then I also got a packet in the mail from Heartland for Thursday's meeting for you. And it's kind of thick. Do you want me to try to scan that to you? Or you're calling in
That would
Thursday?
be nice.
All right, I'll try to get that done too.
Thank you.
We just got that yesterday for Thursday.
Okay.
So
Okay, you ready? That's it.
So next week, we're gonna have to have a motion, or we're gonna discuss that building risk insurance coverage that we talked to Gallagher on. Right, you wanna talk
Did we
about?
do this?
No, we did the contracts, but now we wanna discuss that, builder's risk coverage.
Okay.
Because we gotta sign that form too, giving them out. And then
I
we should-
thought you want me to list these,
Oh,
the contract.
yeah, go ahead.
You ready?
Yep. Sorry, I jumped the gun, I'm rushing them.
Yes, you are.
I'm thinking of all the other work I gotta do.
Okay, I make a motion on these signing of these contracts. One is with Edwards Plumbing and Heating and Air Conditioning. Second one is for G&H Electric Incorporated. Third contract is with Stark Construction. Fourth contract is with Pickering Backhoe Service. And last one is Worthington Concrete for the ground transportation building, I guess. Is that what we're calling it now?
Yep.
Well, that sounds good.
I've seen it called the bus barn, I've seen
Yeah.
it all up there. And Primer did say it's that.
You second it?
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 There's the
Motion
contract.
carries.
The other one you gotta have yet is the electrical, correct?
No, insulation.
Oh, I'm sorry, insulated.
Yep.
You're right.
Seating insulation. They're in Cedar Rapids, you know. Instead of going through the computer and then having him copy it and sign it, and then I said, I'll be in
Yeah.
Cedar Rapids when it's raining and meet with him in person.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. So when will they,
After this next thing that we're gonna do right
Okay.
now.
We wanna make sure we have our coverage on it.
Yes. Now, did you look at the insurance? Or should we jump ahead and take care of Myron, cause I'm sure Myron's on.
Byron, are you on? Yep. Yes.
Yep, I'm on the line.
Let's do Myron first.
Alright, we'll do you for, that okay with you, Rick?
Yeah, of course it's okay.
You're down there where it's nice and sunny and warm, it's drizzly and 39 degrees up here.
It was 91 yesterday.
All right, Myron, I've given him all the paperwork.
Okay,
I'll pass the
let's start with the utility permit for East Central Iowa REC, out north of Benton, just off the Highway 150, Hummel's Curve area. There on that north property, there's a new house that's going to be built. The electrical transmission line, not transmission line, but the electrical box is on the south side or kind of west side of the rock road. So they need to bore. They will need to bore under 24th Avenue Drive to provide service to that new house that's being built. So the utility permit that request that has been made by East Central Iowa REC is bore under 24th Avenue Drive, which would be just a few hundred feet west of Highway 150 out here at Hummel's Curve. I think they've been doing some work out that way, so yeah, I'd make that motion to approve East Central Iowa REC utility permit.
I second it.
All in favor, please say
All
aye.
right.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The federal aid swap agreement. When we were going over the 5-year construction plan here a few weeks ago, I made comment about the bridge that's on the pavement west of Mount Auburn, replacing it with a box culvert. Originally, when the project was being developed, I was looking at using regional, well, what was called STP is now STVG, I think, regional money running through EasyCog, and it was going to be funded 70% with that region money, 30% with the county money. From when that was first developed to today, there was this swap option that came about. Whereas
Thank you.
bridge replacement projects could have 100% of the project costs paid out of bridge replacement funding money. And so I inquired about whether or not we could change the funding source on that project and utilize the bridge replacement funding mechanism, in which case we could get reimbursed, or actually all of it would be paid for out of that fund. Because it's on a farm market route, it'll be processed through the DOT's the Benton County's DOT farm market account. It wouldn't actually need to go through the county's local budget where we typically pay the contractor and they get reimbursed for it. But what this agreement is to switch to that swap funding, and instead of being 70-30 as it was originally submitted to the region, it would now be state swap money, 100% paid for out of that county's swap bridge replacement funding. the motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries.
No.
I'm gonna jump to, fourth item and come back to the third. I gave, you should have a small
Yeah.
spreadsheet printout that has 2 trailers, 2 dealers listed on them. Correct.
Back in 1991, I think, when Benton County bought a crane, they bought a gooseneck lowboy trailer, detachable gooseneck, to haul that trailer around. That trailer is getting to a condition now that it needs to be replaced. And reviewing different types of trailers and types of equipment and trucks that we haul for maintenance, or hauling equipment to job sites. Actually, a folding, hydraulic folding gooseneck trailer would work better for our operation instead. And we went to the Load King and XL dealers locally and sought out a price quote for a replacement trailer, asking for a trade for our current trailer. And what you have presented in front of you is the Load King's quote and the XL's quote, and would look to recommend purchasing the Load King folding gooseneck trailer, even though it's got a lead time that's a little bit longer. The price difference would outweigh waiting an extra 2 months waiting for.
Myron, could I ask what that third line is, or is it 16.4?
The difference between the 2 quotes, the difference between the 2 trades, and the difference of the total.
Kind of what I was thinking it might have been, but I wanted to make sure. So,
Yes.
okay, all right. I'd make the motion that we go with the Load King trailer.
You got that still in your budget? Well, actually, it'll be coming out in 21 budget, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
I'll second that.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Because you won't pay for it till you get it, obviously.
Correct.
22 weeks would definitely be in that next year's budget.
Yeah, I think that puts it around, did I count that out right, around the first part of October, I think? Last thing I had on the agenda was to update you on a bridge replacement box culvert project that we have in the plan down outside of Norway, 75th Street. Was working on that project 5 years ago. Met with the property owner who, only because of some assistance through a nursery company in Cedar Rapids, had business with him for other reasons. The list of each discussion on right-of-way acquisition wasn't at that time, kept generating additional work to be done, and wasn't excited about the project. We had other things that started developing that spring, and that project kind of got tabled. I since hired this winter a land acquisition company to help me with acquiring the right-of-way for that project. Late in March, a proposal was given to the property owner. That land acquisition company talked to him on the phone, said, why don't you look that over? We will touch base later in the week, and we will set up a time and start discussing the project. That individual has not answered the phone since the end of March. The company has tried multiple times with multiple people at different times of the day and different days of the week. And so I'm nowhere closer to the right-of-way acquisition on that. I had hoped to let that project in June. It's going to have to be delayed at this point because we haven't had at least the pleasure of making the county
received and just electing not to, talk to the company, with what's going on right now. I'm not sure it's wise to just sit out there on the road waiting for the individual to grab his mail or come out until, that aspect is freed up a little bit. So nothing has been successfully accomplished on that here for the last 5 or 6 weeks on that. The hope was that we would have been already signing paperwork and moving forward, but I wanted to update you on where things were at with that project right now.
So there really isn't anything we can do. Well, what's that, Rick?
As it sounds like it's back on the shelf.
Yeah. As close as it can get anyway.
Yeah.
Myron, let me do some investigating. I don't know if he's got bad health. I know who you're talking about. So give me a day or two and
Yeah, and that's certainly another possibility. I know that it seemed odd, I guess, that outside of that phone calls have gone unanswered, like I said, in multiple. They're trying multiple times a week and changing up the days and changing up the times just in case somebody was gone, that maybe they were missing them. And I know that the property owner hasn't been really excited about the project, but has been willing to talk each time. It's usually, like I mentioned, when I dealt with him 5 years ago, he kept coming up with additional things that he would like to have done on his property that really couldn't be combined with the project. The first few that he had a request for, one that we could certainly accommodate and fit well within the project scope. The other one had potential, other things that he started listing were far beyond what could even be included with part of the project.
Okay.
let me ask some questions and I'll find
Yeah,
out.
We're continuing forward, once we can, to try to continue to purchase that right away. It's just not gonna be a project let in June. It would be fall now at the latest, and that will all depend until we find out about the property owner and what, progress is made once we do make contact with them.
Okay,
All right.
Outside of that, that's all I had for your, meeting this morning.
Okay, well, thanks,
Thank you,
Myron.
Myron.
thanks, Myron.
You're welcome.
I guess we're back on, proving building risk coverage.
Yep.
So
So
I
we need-
have printouts. So the premium estimated $1,231.
Yep.
So then I think this is what we have to fill out to get back to them.
Okay,
And we would check that, or is that? She said, or
Both.
we can ask both, because we are technically both right
yes,
now, right?
that's why
Okay,
I've been doing them.
so then we'll fill that out,
Yep,
and then,
actually I filled that out once already.
oh.
They
where'd she
got
send it?
that.
Oh, you already sent it to her?
Yes,
Oh,
I
okay,
did.
so maybe that's why she sent this back.
Okay, well,
So I wasn't included in that
I
one,
haven't
so,
got that.
okay.
Yes, I filled that out last Friday, me and, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, yep, that's where the email was.
And he was gonna fax it to him,
So then he must have done it yesterday, and then he sent me,
okay?
and I already have it on the agenda,
Cause
so
he sent me them contracts
after. that.
Friday late, yeah.
Okay.
At home, and then, see, I printed them off, and this weekend I took them all around to the people that I know, and I hit Edwards up this morning when I come up here.
Okay, so then this is what the only thing we need to make any changes on is this particular one. That one, yeah. Cause then we'll have to sign here.
Yeah.
If we do wanna make any changes, this is what we make. Okay,
Yeah, your best bet is let
Hello.
David look this over. 'Cause
yeah,
if it was
he
sent to
emailed
him,
this to me yesterday late
oh, he
afternoon,
sent it
yes,
to you.
and said to make sure it was on the, agenda.
Okay.
It was already on the agenda,
Okay.
so.
Okay, cause I did not get a
And
chance.
he thought that was pretty reasonable for
Yes,
what
I
the
do
amount
too.
is too.
I do too. I do too. And then as for the, everybody's insurance, they're supposed to either send it to you,
Certificate of liability.
right. They're gonna send it either to you, or I think one or two of them are gonna send it to me, and I will forward it.
Yep, because we have some on file and I showed Dave what we were having.
Edwards went with a new insurance company, so what you got from Edwards is odd fit, no good.
Okay.
He informed me that this morning.
Okay. Yep, because we have a file, we keep all those.
So we gotta make a motion to,
Approve that
Approve.
premium and I
Yep.
probably mentioned that amount
okay,
and then that we can get this signed off and go.
okay,
Because I'll have Gary sign this.
just to hear over what we were figuring, that's fine. I guess he did. I make a motion to approve the signing of the insurance coverage for the project, the ground transportation building, for the amount of $1,231. My motion,
Gallagher Risk.
Gallagher Risk Insurance.
Gallagher Risk Management, yeah.
Yep, we
Yep.
were working with Jennifer Shand on
I would second that.
You know, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Did I?
that. Let's have Gary sign the bottom of that one.
Yeah.
Even though it has Thompson email, is that okay? We can maybe carve a new one.
Client signature, yeah.
Okay.
I
I think Rocky has copies of all that stuff too. To know that we're compliant.
You can have this.
Well, I can forward that email if it's
Okay.
just signed. I didn't know if you needed a signed one. And then we'll get
I
a,
can,
we'll get a certificate back from them to have on file and I can share that too. That way we're all covered.
everybody got what everybody else got and we're good. So,
Since we've never dealt with one of these before,
I know, this is like,
it's a learning curve.
they're not too sure. I mean, this is only the second one
Well,
that
I
they've done
talked to
too.
Janine and Jones.
Yeah,
They did theirs a little differently, so.
Clean the contract up, I like that.
yeah.
Is that you? All right, so I think we have,
Maybe you put a bunch of stuff in there that wasn't needed.
hold on. I know you guys have given me prior approval before, but I would have to have temporary people come in to help me do some ballot
I
stuffing.
thought we did already.
You did, but I didn't formally have it on the agenda, so I'm asking the auditors too. Just because I don't know what we have to, because we have 24 hours to turn around and get them out.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're doing our normal
Well,
days.
I thought we give you permission to hire somebody.
You did, but that was more of a full time. I hired Gary, but I did advertise for that, so if you guys are okay with it, I might call in a few extras. But it'd only be as needed basis right now.
You mean, like Gary, have him come in and
Yeah,
help?
he's in now
Oh,
already.
he is?
Yes, but we got our,
Okay.
we have our testing going on too, public testing. So everybody's got stuff going on.
I don't have a problem with it. You got a problem with it, Rick?
We've advertised for
No.
that, but if I just have to call in a few extra temps, but it'd be as needed basis right
You
now.
don't
What do
have
they
to
have to do?
advertise.
We have to stuff ballots, we
Right.
have to look them up.
I was like, I
We have
got
to
some
get
drivers.
labels. It's not just, you
Yeah,
have to
there's
make,
some drivers again.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Some
get
lady
busy.
drivers.
that's true, because I have to make sure they, understand how to do it correctly too.
Yeah.
So you have to put the right balance.
When's the time frame you gotta have them?
Like right now, like,
Oh,
we
right
don't know,
now?
like today I got 500 requests, Friday we got
Oh.
400, yesterday we got like 100. Every day is
Was
just.
that something like Judy Wright could do? Judy Stinger? I mean,
That form that you
that might be an idea.
Yeah, no, that one, but we have to check
Yeah, I was saying this, the one I filled out.
this one.
Yeah. Should we fill this one out again, or?
I think we're okay on that, and if we have to do that, I'll do it, because there's no signature on that page. But Gary needs
No,
to
there
sign
ain't,
this
because
one.
I even complained there was no,
Unless that's it,
yeah.
because
This-
did you request it? We
Yeah.
obviously requested it, she took it per
Yes.
year,
Yes.
so maybe we'll have her sign that too, so it's formal. Did you
Well, I'm
sign the
thinking I
copy?
signed it.
Okay,
Where do I sign?
right here,
I
and then
don't
I'll fill the
remember.
rest in.
'Cause I know this back page is all zero. We ain't gotta worry about earthquake insurance, we don't have to worry about flood insurance. Earthquake?
You never know, we're gonna have snow this week. What they call it, some kind of a vortex.
We're getting everything else from China.
I know.
We did that too.
Okay. So then
Where do I sign this one?
Oh.
you approve it here. I'll put the date, or you can put May 5th, and then you sign right here.
Under Benton County Engineer.
Nope, you're right here, right next to Benton County, Iowa. Myron will sign that other spot. And then this, you have to sign as well.
I already did that one.
You did? Yep, and then I'll sign my part. Where's the date over here? Okay,
There, I filled out the hard stuff. The rest of them are names, if you gotta use it again.
okay. Well, maybe,
That way it'll be the same.
I'm gonna have him sign it today in case we need it for today's, since we officially. So I'm gonna have you sign here too. These are your copies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanna get my next up. Rick, you're not in here to see the letter, but the grand jury tour is changed because of the COVID restrictions, so it's
Okay.
basically postponed until further notice.
Oh, they did not give a date?
It was supposed to
Okay.
be on the night.
It was supposed to be on the 19th. I think we're good. I think we got everything I needed signed. I think we have all the action items I needed from you guys today.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I think I'm good with all your action items, unless you guys have any reports.
I do, got a couple items. I did not have any meetings for reports, but I've got a couple other items.
Go ahead,
You
Rick.
guys got a report?
Go ahead, Rick.
Okay, well, I sent photos to everyone regarding the recycling down in the Sheldsburg, County Maintenance Building.
Yep.
And if you were able to zoom in on the photos at all, you're gonna see it definitely is not recycled items.
Yep.
There's, looked like a battery trickle charger or something in there, which is just basically garbage. And I suppose they think, well, that's metal, maybe they could recycle that. No, that doesn't happen. There was an artificial Christmas tree in there and several bags of
He sent me a picture.
pop-ups, 2-liter bottles.
I'll show him that
And,
picture.
you know, you saw that picture?
Well, you sent it to me yesterday.
And, yep. So the problem we've got with that is, first of all, it's more trash than recycle. And from what I understand, it's primarily the residents of Sheldsburg that are using it, not so much county. And what is thrown outside of the recycled dumpster flows into neighboring properties. So I'm almost to the thoughts that if it's Sheldsburg residents that are primarily using it, maybe we should ask for a location in Sheldsburg, just like we do with Benton. You know, we have the dumpster across the street there in the county lot that's supposedly for county residents, but unfortunately many people of the city, I think, probably use it more than the county. So I think we should visit with Lonnie, the mayor of Sheldsburg, see if he would have a location to put it within the city limits. And that way they could keep a better eye on it. Otherwise, we need to put up maybe some sort of security cameras so we can prosecute people that are just dumping trash, or Or maybe the fourth option is just get rid of the darn thing. It's kind of what reminds me of what went on down in, wasn't it Watkins with their brush dump?
Yep.
This isn't,
And so, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If they can't take care of it, it needs to be, you know, discontinued.
this isn't the first time that's been a problem.
Oh, ever since I've been on the board, it's been a problem. So, I don't know. I don't have a problem. I'll call Lonnie to see if they would, you know, have a spot to put it within the city limits.
Do you want me to put it on the
If you wish
agenda
me to.
next week?
What was that?
Do you want me to put it on the agenda next week?
Well, I think we should, if we ignore it, the problem doesn't go away.
Even if we don't
And
ignore
I
it,
know the-
yeah, even if we don't ignore it, the problem ain't gonna go away. It's a mess.
Well, if it's within the city limits, you know, I would intend to visit with the mayor and ask them to try to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
And if it persists, maybe they need to put a dumpster for people to throw their garbage into. You know, a roll off or something.
You might
And
want-
I understand, you know, if I could blame it on the fact that the public cannot go to the landfill, it'd be one thing, but just like you said, Gary, this has been going on for years.
yeah. I think that's a good idea.
What are you
If,
talking to Lonnie?
yeah, I do. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, all right. I'll gladly do that.
And I know the sheriff's has a couple of trail cams, maybe you could talk with them to put one on there. If you have to.
Okay. Well, you want me to talk to the sheriff about that as well?
Yeah, I wouldn't right now, yeah. But, yeah,
Do not right now?
no, let's wait till next week.
Oh, yeah. Put it on the agenda. you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Okay, alright, okay, alright. The other thing I had, the reason I was late calling in, Linda,
Rick, before you, bring your thing up, let me back up to that, this is Myron Friesick back on the line, I was listening, and yesterday it was brought to my attention by Kurt's Enterprise, the hauler that picks up those containers, that Shellsburg, and I didn't hear the third, but all three containers that he took to Republic yesterday were nearly rejected because they had a lot of non-recyclable stuff in the containers. Randy Sherwood was telling me this morning that in some of those bags of stuff that I think the picture that you got from Shellsburg have addresses from residents outside of Benton County. I don't know where this particular weekend stuff came from, but certainly the last couple of weeks I've been hearing this morning from a couple blade operators, particularly the one in Shellsburg, is there was a period, it seems to have been fading away a little bit right now, where more garbage was being seen in remote areas around the county and roadside ditches, that we were picking more of that material type up here in the last couple of weeks. I know there were, I think, a few TVs in that mix of stuff in Shellsburg here also, but there's probably 2 pickup loads of non-recyclable stuff that was left sitting outside the container here the weekend that was left for us to deal with. I know blade operator, I think, is up here getting a pickup and was going to address some of that stuff to take it to the landfill.
That's totally disgusting, but it makes you wonder, if we do away with that, are they just gonna fill more ditches?
I don't know, but I wanted to throw that in, I guess, before you got off that subject. When I heard you talking, that was a question to be brought up, but since it wasn't on the agenda, I didn't bring it up earlier. Probably would have added it to next week's agenda also, just because of what happened yesterday, but I thought I'd tell you what I knew from our end.
Yeah. we kind of threw this under reports for the fact that, I had people calling me, and it just wasn't one person. I had multiple calls. So, and, everybody is in favor of having it. It just needs to be controlled some way or other. So,
Maybe
I don't know how do you control it.
Maybe the way to do it is to put those cameras up and find out who's doing it.
Well, and as Myron indicated, somebody from out of county, at least an address in one of the bags, from there, is it properly disposing of it? Is it, I don't know. Tracy, you're on the landfill commission. Somebody does that. What prosecution, or it's simple misdemeanor? What is it? Does it fall under the state thing where, for littering?
It's hard to prosecute them. Most of the time you threaten them and, you either tell them come get it or we're gonna fine you. 90% of the time they come get it, if you find out who it is.
Myron said they got some mail.
But there again, you get into the argument, they'll say, well, we don't know how our garbage got to that area.
Yeah.
It was outside our house or behind our house or in the garage.
Somebody's,
Suddenly come up missing, yeah.
Yeah, so not unless you physically see them, catch them, disposing of it, it's kind of hard to prosecute.
I will visit with the sheriff to see if he's got any extra trail cameras as well. I'll try to pursue some of that. But it sounds like it's more than just Shellsburg.
Well, what I would try to do is see if Lonnie ain't got someplace in Shellsburg to put it. 'Cause where it is right now, it's, anybody can come up there and dump stuff off, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the only time you'll see them is when somebody's driving by at 50 mile an hour. And people don't remember things.
Right.
That's why, if they could put it on their city shed down there, I mean, that would be awesome. I think it would stop overnight.
Okay. Well, I'll visit with the mayor down there and try to figure that out.
Okay?
All right. Anything else on that?
No, nothing on that.
That was all I was wanting to add in.
Okay. All right. I'll go to my second item, and that was the food pantry, where I was on the phone with Linda Wood. And last week, they had a record number of people at the food pantry. They had 61, which is quite a number in the short period of time that they're there. I think they're there, from 10 to 4, something like that, 10 to 3 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they are stretched thin because many of the volunteers are not coming out due to the COVID-19. So what they have been having to do since the people wanting to use the food pantry is they set it outside the door. Well, now we've got some weather. And last week it was rainy, as we know, as well. So what she was asking, could we do some sort of canopy or entryway at their south door that would help protect the food items? Maybe some sort of drop box or something, might be another thought. So just, some thoughts here.
I stopped.
If you're good with it, go ahead.
I stopped out there, I don't remember when it was, a week or two ago. And it was a nice day. And they had several items outside, grouped for families. It would take probably an area, probably as big as what the public area is here in our supervisor's room, to give them enough room to get the stuff outside ahead of time. I mean, I didn't realize they were having that many people coming. There wasn't anybody there whenever I was there. I guess one person came, but they were ready. They had like, I'd say 6 or 8 food packages set up already outside. But
Well, perhaps, sorry to interrupt there, perhaps I could visit with Linda. As you know, we've got that enclosed walkway with the double doors. Perhaps they could utilize that. They could access it from the inside, and if the public could access it from the outside, and of course block off the majority of that walkway, there would be a no-cost, efficient way to handle it.
yeah,
So maybe we should look at that. And whether or not they put shelves in with, you really don't put people's names or anything of that nature, but maybe that might be an option. Because those double doors are real close to their south door.
We do have a security officer there now too. What if they could call ahead or something too?
We do.
Dick's been over there ever since all this has started.
He has.
Yes.
See,
So
I've
he's
never,
there every day, all day long.
I've never run into him when I'm over there. Okay.
Well, the concerns were, due to the elements right now setting things out, they're getting all wet. And if it's cardboard, or packaged material like that, it gets damaged. So,
Can I see what it is?
if it's okay, I'll visit with Linda regarding the use of that part of that hallway. Otherwise, I'll see what it might cost to put some sort of cover over the doorway, to help protect it. What do you think, guys and gal?
That hallway, last time I knew, they were using it for storage.
Correct. That's pretty well what was in there the last I knew. And so it wouldn't be real hard to block it off, even with, a temporary type wall. Something just kind of a freestanding wall.
how long is
Something
this?
that can be moved out of the way in order to get the chairs or the tables or whatever else we've got.
Is this need gonna go away as soon as this coronavirus is kind of behind us?
Not sure it will, but yeah, who knows?
They really need a little more room out there anyway, the way it looks to me.
Yeah, they're really doing a box office business, unfortunately.
And I did talk with Sarah. She's gonna try to use that EFSP money and purchase stuff or donate it for that food pantry stuff.
Nice. And as we know, the garden there with the old school produce partners, that's 100% food pantry. And Linda said they've got dairy products, they've got fruits and vegetables, et cetera.
What about
And so right now, due to the weather, this has been a problem.
So it's not back up though.
Yes.
They couldn't put stuff in there temporary too, maybe?
No, it ain't finished.
Oh, okay.
No, it ain't finished.
Oh, okay.
They had a group, I'm getting a sideline on
Yeah,
this.
no, sorry. I was asking about that hoop building what the status on that was, if they could utilize that, but never mind.
No, that's different.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'll visit with Linda a little bit, otherwise I'll see if I can get some quotes and just try to throw it on the agenda, okay?
That hallway, could increase their square footage by probably 25%, couldn't it?
Oh gosh, it definitely would. Of course, there's no heat or air conditioning in it, but, you know, if it's just for dry storage, yeah, I think it could work.
Otherwise, the conference room hasn't really been in use either. If they come with that side door.
Well, but again, if the conference room is quite a bit further down the hall, and they'd have to transport it down there, people would come in from the outside entrance. Honestly, once the transportation building is relocated, we could take a lot of that stored items out of that enclosure, and that would give them a lot of cold storage area or dry storage. So yeah.
I'm just thinking of our budget, trying to save money this year, because we just approved all that extra with the waterproofing too. So.
Right. So let me visit with her, okay?
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else?
Oh, you got me sidetracked, I can't remember a thing. I had, that one I did sit on, Zoom with, Eastern Iowa Housing. Not much really going on, same way that they got a lot of projects they wanna do, extra money. I was kinda surprised how much City of Benton kicked in the Easy Cog, and they, in return, are helping fund these houses here on the south end of town. I was kinda impressed with that.
They've done a lot.
Yeah.
11. I've heard 11 they helped.
I think they told me, I'd be lying now, I thought it was 8. I think they said 8, I should've wrote it down because I was at home. 8 are actually completed, and I believe it was 13 or 15 on the docket to be built.
I just busy. Have you drove through?
Yeah, I haven't drove by there, just from what they told me. It's booming. And then as for the Easy Cog meeting, I did not stay in the house. I went out and finally started planting corn on Thursday.
From what I've heard a little bit, if I could interject, those lots in that Anderson Creek edition, a number of those lots, 10, 12, whatever it was, were subsidized.
Yep.
And that basically 2 contractors bought them up. And they're doing the spec building. Now, there are some people that have done differently, but yeah, from what I had heard, you know, one guy bought 6 or 8 lots. So, yeah. So I'm not surprised that it was inexpensive lots. The ones that got subsidized are gone.
Okay.
And again, that's what I was told. I don't know that for a fact.
So are they all sold or just some of them?
No, there's 31 lots there total, right? But they got, it's in the high 20s that they all are sold. There's a few left.
Right. The ones that were subsidized, for lack of a better term, were snatched up pretty quickly.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay.
Makes you wonder what the subsidy's going for.
Well, I don't know if it was $5,000 or $10,000 per lot. I can't recall. It was a fair amount.
I think they gave us.
I know one company who purchased 4. So, yeah.
Well, that lady told us that when she was here presenting her budget. Remember? That was when they had the pre-approval.
Anything
Well, I don't
else?
have anything else.
I would entertain a motion. to
Anything
adjourn.
else for the agenda next week other than what we discussed today? Shelter?
So I can call.
Okay, if you want to put the food pantry thing on there, let me know. I'll put it tentatively.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Good. Nice to talk to everyone. Nice to see you on the YouTube.
It It does work, then, huh?
Yep. All right, well, I'm gonna sign off, okay?
Okay,
Motion up.
Everybody, enjoy the week.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn, did you?
Yep.
I'll second it.
all in favor,
Aye.
please say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Aye.